It's a big market, 320, 330 billion odd issuance, depending on which day you're counting, and growing still. So it's a big, diverse market. It's deep, it's well trodden, it's well established, and for that reason, as I previously touched on, it's beneficial for Australia, it's beneficial for Australian investors, and it's beneficial for issuers as well. This one I really like, and it just shows that huge geographic diversity in issuers in the kangaroo bond market at the moment. 128 issuers, 30 countries. It is a very wide and broad market across a wide range of geographies. I think it's, we've seen growth in European issuers. We continue to see US issuers coming back, new US issuers. Canadian issuers have been extremely strong, coming back to the market time and time again. Korea, I think Brad mentioned briefly, we see that repeat issuance from Korea. I think one of the holes in that whole picture, and one of the pieces that the pie would like to see bigger, is obviously from Asia. We've seen MTR, we've seen SELP, we've seen Republic of Indonesia all come to the market recently, and we'd love to see how do we facilitate that, how we make that piece of the pie bigger. The last slide, I just want to touch on this briefly, because I think one of the things that we think about from Austraclear perspective is how do we facilitate the market? How do we continue to make it easier? And I think one of the things that's really stood out in recent months with all the recent year and a half, with the geographical uncertainty is the windows for funding are getting smaller and smaller. We're now on intraday book builds, and that certainty of execution is critical. From an Austraclear perspective, and Australia, has, and I've flagged there, Australia has a well-trodden path. It's a market that's been around a long time. It's a well-understood market. It's got clear documentation. It's a clear understanding of how tax works in the market. So there's that certainty of the market, and that gives benefit. There's also flexibility. So we see issuers coming in. We see them doing standalone issuances. We see them adding to global note programs, global MTN programs. We see them setting up Australian MTN programs. There's flexibility in terms of how you come to market. From an Austraclear perspective, one of the things that we do is we have this issuer representative concept. And that was set up deliberately to allow offshore issuers to access the markets. So the issuer doesn't have to be a participant in Austraclear. They don't have to register. They don't have to come on shore. They can use the issuer representative, who's usually the paying agent or the registrar, and they will be the participant within Austraclear, and they will facilitate the setup. They'll obtain the ISINs. They'll deposit the notes on issuance. And we see that working with these established players in the local markets is a very effective and efficient way to allow bonds to be established quickly and to be deposited and give that certainty of execution. There are a couple of other things. We have flexibility in governing law. While most bonds issued in the kangaroo bond market are primarily under New South Wales or Australian law, we have some flexibility. We also permit other governing laws bonds to be issued under other governing laws as well to be issued within the system. We have flexibility with issuance across the credit stack. We don't require listing of securities before deposit. Again, all this goes to how do we facilitate speed to market, how do we facilitate certainty, and how do we see that market growing for the benefit of issuers and investors here in Australia.